Roll call. George? David? Matthew?
Yep.
Angela?
Hey.
And then we have our staff, Coralie, Tyler, Jeff, and Pat.
Hey.
And then myself. So we're all here for the agenda. I'd ask us all now to pause to seek guidance. Alrighty. And then we will have the reading of the mission statement. And it says to provide, promote, or facilitate municipal services that meet the community needs by preserving, supporting, and enhancing quality of life for all. The first thing is the approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions needed?
I motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The first on our agenda is a presentation from John Carroll on dangerous and unsightly. Could I have someone move to bring him forward?
I motion to approve John Carroll's presentation.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Welcome, sir.
Notes.
Well, good evening to yourself, Ms. Gregory. I appreciate being here, and hello to the councilors. I won't be a long time, but I have something I want to share with you as a potential owner of a property here in Digby Neck. My name is John Carroll, and I thank you again for the opportunity. My wife and I first visited this area several years ago. We were here as tourists and were truly impressed by the beauty of Whale Cove and the surrounding area. So much so, with its easy access to ocean views and to observe passing whales, which is truly a spectacular experience. We have been back numerous times since that first visit, and we have been contemplating the purchase of a vacation property here in Whale Cove for some time. We visited Whale Cove in August of this year to look at a property, and we were extremely disappointed over the condition of a property adjacent to the government wharf in the heart of that community. The land is littered with derelict boats, old building materials, old fishing gear, trash of all sorts, as well as a number of large boulders blocking the road to the government area that we used to park in. Frankly, we are reconsidering our purchase, and I wanted to share this with you as leaders of the community, the effect that it may have on growth in the area for all to enjoy. Truly, it is an unsightly and somewhat dangerous property in my view. We understand that the governing community bylaws contain a dangerous and unsightly property act, and we are wondering why this bylaw has not been enforced. My purpose here this evening is to ask what council plans to do about this unsightly property before making our final decision on the purchase of the property. Excuse me. It is of a concern for us, excuse me, in the future we aren't going to live forever, so at some point in time, if we purchase the property, it will come on the market. And our concern is, as a potential resident, as a potential resident of what the future value would be, and is it a good investment at our stage in life? We are both retirees. I'm not sure if everybody has visited the site lately, but I've taken the liberty of providing each of you with some recent photographs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One for the recorder.
Thank you.
That's bad.
As you look through the package, you will see there's a copy of the current bylaw as posted on the website. There is a definition of unsightly as per the Municipal Government Act, and some highlights of where I feel the photographs confirm an unsightly condition. I'll give you a moment to have a look through.
Yep, I got it.
All right.
For our records.
David, would you share it before when you're finished?
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
There you go, Coral.
And then she.
I don't think this is the first time that this situation has come before you. I'm told by some local residents. But again, my concern is for us as an investment, and your concern would be for you as a community, hoping to attract growth, as all communities do these days. So I think it's in the community's best interest to put your best foot forward.
I have been informed you have done your complaint that has gone to the building inspecting under the Dangerous and Unsightly Act. And for all questions, Tyler and Alfred, the building inspector, the one who's in charge of this, would be free to meet with you at any time to discuss. Council does not discuss what they're doing. That's their job, and we're let know what happens after the fact. Okay? Well, I do appreciate you taking the time. I really appreciate the pictures. I have been in Whale Cove. I have not been in Loop since summer. That's the last time I've been down to Smith's Cove. Whale Cove, I apologize. The writing on the rock. But anyway, that it will go through Tyler and Alfred, and if you need questions or any kind of appointment, they will set up and meet with you.
Well,
As
thank
a
you.
council, we expect our staff to follow the bylaws and policies, and they always do. We have never had a concern with our staff. So I just want
you can appreciate our position as potential investors and what the future might hold for us. That's why I felt it only fair to bring it forward to you, the council, to understand as a newcomer to town how how one might feel. So with that, I don't want to take any more of your time, but I'll be anxious to hear back with a response as to what I can expect.
And that will come through Tyler.
Okay, well, that's great. Tyler, you have my information to contact me, so.
And I really appreciate you taking the time to bring this forward to us. And I want to thank you, and we will go from there.
Well, we look forward to becoming members of the community.
Well, I hope you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next will be approval of the minutes of September the 28th. Is there any errors or omissions?
I move approval of the minutes as presented for September 28th, 2021.
I'll second it.
Was there any errors or omissions anyone saw? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. Unfinished business from the minutes of September the 28th. Did anyone want to bring forward anything from those minutes? Okay. The next is the CAO report. And of course, we always start off with meeting reminders. And I actually like this month coming up. November the 2nd is our bylaw and policy, which is next week. The following week is committee of the whole. Then we have no meeting on the 16th. The 23rd at 5 p.m. is council. And on November the 30th, there is no meeting. On December the 7th is bylaw. Is anyone got any problems with these meetings? Any concerns? Remember, they're still on Tuesdays.
December 7th.
Now, is there any questions about capital projects? And, oh, I should have mentioned.
So we're gonna have $100,000 left over? Sorry.
No, we're not done. All action items from the September council meeting have been addressed. Letters were sent regarding a vineyard subdivision zoning and housing. I apologize. Now, what was your question?
Just, is that the final price for the bus? For the $534,000? Because we had $650 budget, I was just wondering.
Yes, I believe.
Yes, I do believe with when the taxes and everything. So the way the capital budget works, right? We only pull out what we need, and the rest stays in the reserve. So yeah, so that one worked out.
Pretty close.
Good. There was some moving pieces right up until the end on that one. But yeah.
Nice to see it coming in under budget.
Yes.
It's quite nice to do buses. Ooh.
I've heard only good things.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
You should get for a ride on it.
Maybe I will.
It's beautiful.
Sometime I'm in town.
You won't want to get off.
Just to kick up my feet, then fall asleep.
Yeah.
I used to have a job cleaning buses when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
It was really gross.
Okay. Any other questions on the capital projects?
The Weymouth Library roof, is that going to get done this fall, or?
We are trying to confirm that. We were expecting it done back in July.
Yeah.
Certainly glad I didn't put that in the report. But, we are working on it. Contractors are, I think it's fair to say, overcommitted in the area. So the material has been purchased. And our material was purchased before things went up. So the cost is not a concern. It's just actually getting it installed, and we are actively working on that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Alrighty. The next would be the financial report, and it's the approval of the September payables in the amount of $733,143.56.
I move approval of September payables of $733,143.56.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Then you had your income and expense report for September. Any questions?
No.
Concerns? All right. The next then is our standing committee items. Committee of the whole recommendations, the Digby and Area Business Association funding request. There was a motion to recommend to council for $500. So could someone move that motion from?
I motion to approve the $500 funding to the Digby Area Business Association.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next was for us to send a letter to the Nova Scotia Agriculture Review Board on the change of venues, as we feel it should be in Digby County for a Digby concern and not in Yarmouth. So could someone move this motion from there?
Move to send a letter to the Nova Scotia Aquaculture Review Board requesting the venue for the Aquaculture Review Panel to be moved to Digby County.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Any concerns? I felt that this was very important because people do not want to drive an hour if they have a concern when this should be up here for the concern.
It'd be a 4-hour round trip for the islands.
Yeah.
With multiple ferry boat rides, so it's a bit much.
Yeah. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next was the Oak Dean School Center, and I would request that this be moved to our bylaw and policy for next week.
I move the Barton School Sale be moved to bylaw and policy for next week.
I'll make a motion that the Oak Dean Center be
I got mixed up.
forwarded to our meeting next week.
Bylaw and policy.
Oh,
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is
School has it mixed up.
the Barton School Sale. And the motion was from our, just a minute.
Sorry.
It's under business items.
There we go.
I'll get it here.
down.
It's before the,
Pressure's on.
Listen, you're putting a lot of pressure on me. I can't take it. I'm gonna ask for a recess.
I think down at the very bottom, I think there's a recommended motion.
yeah, there it is.
There we go.
So can I have someone move that motion?
Can you read that from there? I could.
You're gonna have to.
Okay.
Computer-
That's a high move.
I'll give up.
On
A
behalf
white
of
flag.
Ross, I move that the municipality of Digby sell the Barton School property PIDS 30185-862 and 30357-107 to Compass Nova Scotia Cooperative for $1 for the development of affordable housing.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it. Thanks, David.
And we did have a public meeting and there was no concerns raised from the public. So all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried.
Glad to see it happen.
The next is a motion for the sewer bylaw second reading.
A motion to approve the amended definitions in sewer bylaw number 2007-01 and number 2007-02.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Everyone quite comfortable with what you saw? Was it red in your papers? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The lobster trap program letter, I would like us to have a motion for this to go to staff for further investigation.
Okay.
Oh, I could.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
we just thought, it sounds like an interesting program, but we just thought knowing a bit more, having a bit more information. They've got, I think, a section at the bottom where they have what they're expecting from us.
Yeah.
But whether it's 20 traps or 2,000 traps changes that whole paragraph significantly. So we feel like we need a bit more information, and we wanted to talk to some of the other partners in the area that had been working with them.
Just one where we're supposed to provide in-kind support up to $1,200 or something.
Nope, that's a different one. This one they didn't put a limit on, just
No
provide
limit.
unlimited support. So we just wanted to be able to qualify what we're getting into. Certainly, we like the idea, but
They're asking for an awful lot. I would have expected a presentation with something of like a big chunk of our ability. Like, is this their minimum ask?
Well, we don't know, that's why I have asked for a motion for staff to further investigate.
I'll move that staff further investigate this lobster trap letter.
Yeah, I'll second that for sure.
It's from the lobster trap program.
The last time that we tried to pull lobster traps, we weren't allowed to because of there's the possibility that the derelict traps were native traps, and so we weren't able to take any out of the St. Mary's, or I think Bay Fundy too. The whole plan got canceled for this area of the province, last I heard, so.
I think it's changed again, but I'm not sure. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next was the Wren letter of support.
I move that we write a letter of support for the Western Regional Economic Network in regards to the, what do they call the project? Western Energy Region Energy Investment Plan.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I had a question.
Yes, sir.
I just fully didn't understand it. Do you have some info on, like, I guess I kind of do, like, but I'm wondering if it's kind of like what the Efficiency Nova Scotia is doing.
It is along the same theme, but I guess going bigger and identifying it. So I think, I hate to keep making you bounce around, Tyler, on the previous page. So when they did their energy study, this is all work that's feeding out of the energy work they started a couple of years ago. One of the big users or identifiers was that the houses in the region generally are older and I think score very poorly for energy efficiency.
37%.
So they're looking at a much bigger targeted but very similar to some of the stuff that efficiency and PACE are doing.
Stuff that they wouldn't do.
Yeah,
Okay.
and deeper, right? I think that's where they're looking to bring FCM in and try and roll this out.
And there's no economic poverty requirement or anything like that. Yeah.
No, I'm good with that. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't, from what I was reading, what I know, I just didn't want to see a carbon copy. It was better. You know, I'm all for it. Good project.
Okay. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is a reduction of property taxes due to fire damage. And Nicole has made a comment. So
Yeah, $8 million.
I feel that it's important for us to do the property tax reduction, and once everything's fixed, then it will change again.
We do this sort of thing all the time.
Yeah, this is just a bigger scale than
Yeah.
the usual discussion, but yes, this is the process that PBSC and us follow.
Yeah, follow it.
So I make a motion to reduce the property tax for Lewis Moldings from April 1st to,
No, effective August 1st.
oh, sorry, effective August 1st.
No, wait, that says April 1st.
No, it says I am
Oh,
requesting
yes,
reduction effective August 1st. Okay, so that's what you would just put.
Well, I was,
And then you would add,
As per Nicole's recommendation.
as per Nicole's,
recommendation that we prorate it from April 1st to March 31st, 2022.
yes. And then yearly taxes to fire and taxes after fire. So that's all we're doing is following her recommendation.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? I actually I'm glad that this came forward because it's something that you don't need this business, working, against taxes when they're already trying to redo and keep their staff working. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is a data letter, and the data letter came, and they're talking about the accommodation levy, and from that, I really feel, the Board of Council feels, that we should have a meeting, because this email was sent to Tom, Jeff, Ben, and myself, and I'd like the four of us to meet and discuss what's happening. And that way, when we come back to council, we'll be able to say what's going on.
Yeah, it's not just our call.
And that's so both units have to pass, and this has been, we've kind of talked about this, we both got to be in lockstep here, right?
Yeah.
The timing they're requesting is pretty challenging at this point.
Yeah.
The bylaw is largely ready. We had to do a lot of that work to get the work done we did in the legislature. But January 1st seems very far away. We don't have a meeting in December is one of the challenges, and there's logistics on setting this up that are going to be a little bit challenging, but we want to meet as the two municipal units and just discuss moving forward.
And that we're both together.
Yeah.
Yes, George?
Have you started doing the bylaws, getting them started?
Oh yeah, there's a very solid draft, right? There's a very solid draft.
So once you fellows get together and then you come back to council, it could be a couple of months, but maybe not too long. It may not be January because that's.
It would have to be January.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they want it for January 1st, it's probably not going to be ready by then. Maybe
I can't
February.
see it.
Maybe
It's probably
February.
going to be ready, I'd say February, March, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that's just with our meeting schedule, that's the timelines, and like I say, getting in step with the town's meeting schedule and what happens with it as well.
Good.
So, could I have a motion that the town and the municipality meet with the warden, mayor, and both CAOs?
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Oh, all three.
Yeah, everybody good. We want this thing going.
Yeah, let's get this thing going.
Let's get this thing over, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the ambulatory care letter from L. Cox. I would think it was sent on to us as well. And I would like maybe for us to send it on to the Minister of Health.
Yep.
I would like it also sent to
Jill.
the Health Authority, as well as, of course, our MLA.
Did it say at the moment, she sent it to anybody else besides us? She just sent it
Yes, she sent it.
Digby Health Board or.
No, she didn't send it to the Digby Health Board, I didn't think.
She sent it to the premier.
She sent it to the Premier. And she sent it to Ben and myself. Oh, she did put others, but
Perhaps we could reach out and see who else she sent it to before we.
But if so, I would like for us, that would be our advocate would be to send on to the people that needs to be sent on to. And then perhaps then we can send her back on it, stating this is what we can do. Would that be okay with everyone, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay. So, because whoever she hasn't sent to, we will send on to. Yeah. Okay. The next is the beautification grant. And the beautification,
Yeah, beautification.
get it out, Linda, and streetscaping program for the Weymouth Beautification and Streetscaping Project. They wanted to advise us that they are going to get $25,000 towards the project, and an advance 50% will be sent to them, and then it will continue. So I just felt that they're asking us just to keep any funding information confidential until they have a public announcement. So it was one to let us know how well it's going. And I would like us to send a letter that we are pleased that they have got this grant from the province.
And what good initiative this shows.
It was, and would we, or would this be inappropriate to send one to the new minister?
I think we might hold off at this time, so
Okay.
like the Weymouth Group is partners with us, so we're working with them on it. And I think just to make sure we don't get too far ahead of ourselves to make sure this flows well. So this funding is coming out really, really late. They did reach out to us to confirm, and we confirmed with the Weymouth Group. This funding should have been released in July.
Well, that's what they were expecting. They wanted to put out, do some flowers
So
and.
they did reach out in September, the new government did, to see what groups, because they're in a met, this entire grant program is up against this. So the Weymouth Group said they're up to the challenge on doing everything they can this fall and using this by the end of this fiscal year. But I just think we might hold off on that letter, just in case we have some other thoughts towards the end of this project on how smoothly it goes. But it is great news, and that is the full amount that we asked for together that was funded. So it is good news, and like I say,
It is amazing.
Very keen to get going.
I think there are some things they can do, but I don't know if they can do all the things they had planned to do because it was, in the middle of summertime, they were going to spruce things up for summer. And, now it's the end of October, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of sprucing up to do. But they may, they were going to buy some benches and do some other cosmetic things, so they still might do.
The next is under the advisory committee minutes reports. We have the PAC September minutes, and we have the Remo March minutes. And the PAC, is that our policing, or is that our public advisory committee?
Planning.
Planning and, I do that every time, I say public
I usually
planning.
write joint RCMP, it's our.
Okay, it's just, I'm not looking at the minutes, which I should have. When I'm sitting here, it's gone. Is there any questions we are working on? We had a great meeting last month. It was the best one ever.
Ever, Jeff.
Ever. Just to tell you, it really went well. And at our upcoming meeting in November, Chris Millier will be here. He will arrive a half hour early. So if anyone wants to ask questions before the meeting, you can, because we want to keep moving.
When is our next PAC meeting?
November the 10th.
Oops. What time is that?
6.
6. It's a recurring meeting.
Yeah, I know. So that was the 10th? Or is it second?
Always the second Wednesday.
Yeah, that's
It's the second, thank you. I accept what you told me earlier. Okay, the next, under joint intermunicipal committee minutes reports, you had the Atlantic Mayors Congress 2020 minutes. We did have a meeting in the fall, and that fall was a Zoom meeting, but they didn't count it as a meeting. It was an update. Because I asked about the minutes, and that's how it was presented, that there wasn't minutes from that. We had a meeting on Thursday evening, Friday, and Saturday in Charlottetown. There was representation from all 4 provinces, and I will go into that more with my notes. I'm just waiting for some notes to come back. It was, we had a lot of people coming in and doing discussion. And it was a truly interesting meeting. It was well done by Matt and by the mayor of Charlottetown. Very nice man. I sat, and they said us, we can't just sit where we want to. They have our little place cards. So on one side of me was the PEI Federation president. On this side of me was the mayor of Moncton. So, I mean, so that you're constantly talking to the different provinces. And the guy next was, I think, a person from Newfoundland. I'm going to be careful about saying that. And so the FCM, third vice president, was there, and he spoke as well. So it was, like I said, it was an interesting meeting. The next was the dark September minutes and recreation director's facility manager and active living October reports. So is there any questions on those reports or anything that we should bring forward, Matthew? That was really a big highlight. We're going through the policies. Yay! I'm sorry.
Yeah, the splash park is coming along too. They're doing lots of good stuff. So
Lots of fundraising.
yep, lots of fundraising.
Really good.
Splash Park be ready for next summer?
No,
I do.
no, I wouldn't.
George has his bathing suit already.
Depends on how much you're donating, George.
Yeah, they're at the slip and
I
slide.
can wait another year.
So
They're doing good though.
It's getting late though, I can't wait too many more years.
if I could, so the Splash Park has booked a presentation at our November council meeting, so we will learn
Oh,
more
I can't wait.
okay.
their plans and timelines.
Like I said, my favorite one was the first time I walked into a splash park in Toronto.
That was your favorite splash park?
It was my first splash park, and I didn't know it was a splash park until I walked through it. And then as I walked, I got wet as I walked, and I was trying to figure out why this water was bubbling up. Because I didn't know that's what it really was. Always nice to be bright and walk through to go to meetings that you're going to be nice and wet on. Looked like I wet myself because the water comes up, not down. Next, Digby Municipal Fire Service June minutes.
So they're going to pay for the ladder.
Who what?
The fire association itself, I saw in the minutes.
What ladder?
There's a couple $1,000s, I think, for insurance for the Barton ladder. Is that right?
They were going to pay to repair it or get it certified, but it got burned up in the fire. So.
Angela, is there anything you want to make any comments on?
Fire trucks.
I went to the meeting last week and it was a productive meeting I think when they first come up with the idea to purchase the Zodiac, it was mostly because of the accident that happened down in Weymouth and people's emotions were in it, and so they were all over the place. But I found at the meeting the other night that they still want to move forward with it, but they do have a plan. They know where they're going to store it. They know who they're going to train. And apparently, in the process, Bear River bought one themselves, and they're going to train 9 of their firefighters. And so that went good. And then the thing with the insurance, one of them brought up an issue they were having with the insurance, and when it came up, they all were having issues with insurance. So they have a special meeting planned, and their broker from the insurance company is actually going to be at the meeting. So they were all happy to hear that.
That's good.
Okay. The next is the Tideview Terrace May minutes and the July AGM minutes. Is there anything you'd like to highlight, George?
No, I know at the last meeting she said that things are changing almost daily. You have regulations and rules and stuff. It was hard to keep up, and for the staff to keep up on, things changing. Not daily, but almost daily. Maybe once a week or maybe twice a week or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that we're having trouble getting full complement for staff. There's people out sick, they don't have the replacements. People are being overworked, and they call replacements in, and if they realize, oh, there's gonna be short staff, and you're gonna have to lift and work, I'm not going in, right? So, it's compacting a lot of things down the chain of event chain.
Are they concerned with the mandate from the province for healthcare, or was that even discussed yet?
It wasn't, well, we have a meeting tomorrow, at the end of the month,
Oh,
meeting
okay.
tomorrow, so I'm sure that'll probably come up.
I guess I'm jumping.
Likely gonna come up tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, and the West, oh, sorry. Oh, Matthew, I'm sorry.
Are they working with the Bren or anything to help with some of those gaps?
You mean the employment stuff?
Immigration, try to get these people
They had-
educated.
I know like a year or so ago, they had talked about, bringing, but they didn't have anywhere to house them, so it was just, I think a lot of that kind of fizzled out some because they didn't have any place for them to.
Yeah, you gotta have
Just
a place, there's a lot of rules and
Yeah.
regulations, and it takes a little over a year to bring someone over.
Yeah.
That's if everything works out perfectly.
Yeah.
So it was just, logistics, they didn't have
Yeah.
the capacity to house them, so.
Okay. The next is the Western Counties Library September newsletter. Did you want to bring anything forward?
No, just that they're in the process of making up their vaccination policy.
Mm-hmm.
We had a personnel meeting last Wednesday or Thursday and voted unanimously to go ahead with the policy for vaccination for their staff. The library staff and the office staff, everybody's to be fully vaccinated, or they don't work.
I hope you're checking with through a lawyer.
Well, yeah, they're just, we just give them the direction to go, now they have to investigate
Oh,
it.
okay, that's good. Anybody have any questions on the newsletter? Thank you very, did you folks have your strategic plan yet? Were you gonna have some meetings on your strategic plan?
I think they were supposed to have that in September.
That hasn't happened yet.
It might have, I was gone in September, I think.
Oh, okay.
I was away on vacation. I think they might have, they had some kind of a, I don't know if it was strategic, I think, yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering how that was going. Outside boards, you have your Digby Harbor Port Authority October minutes. Is there anything you would like to highlight?
Just said the project's starting to move forward. They're getting their the financial parts all lined up, and they approached a couple people to act as the project managers, but they weren't qualified. So Ed is going to start taking the courses so that he could get the accreditation for.
I thought he already had done that.
No, I don't believe that.
Oh,
I think he had taken a course or two, but didn't have the accreditation.
okay, because I'm just going back after our previous person left who had their certification. I was under the impression that we had asked our new manager to do that.
Well, he said he had some of the courses, but he spoke with the previous one and got some information from him, and he's moving forward with it.
Yeah, I just would have thought it would have been done several years ago.
Yeah. And they're also working on a policy to help to ensure that the boats that use that for their home port have the berths over some of the other ones, because the wharf is full all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been working with a lawyer to make sure everything's worded properly, so that, like I said, the ones that fish it there all the time don't get bumped because somebody is coming in because they're getting work done.
Yeah, okay. That's a good idea. The next is the Southwest Biosphere Society June minutes. Is there anything you'd like to bring forward, George?
No, just that they're moving ahead, trying to get things done, which was kind of tough during the COVID stuff, programs and stuff like that.
Didn't they want?
They had some summer workers, but
But also, didn't they ask all the reps to thank their municipal unit?
yeah.
You're welcome.
Southwest Biosphere wanted us to thank all our council members and stuff for their support, and it was greatly appreciated.
Welcome, George.
I knew I wouldn't forget that.
Next is council district activity reports. Angela?
I've been attending a lot of meetings. I think everything's up and running again now for fall, and so I've been fairly busy with the outside boards and the municipal boards, and I've had quite a few complaints in Bear River about the sound levels and the spraying from the vineyard,
Spraying?
pesticide spraying.
Oh, okay.
And I've had some written complaints and also some verbal complaints. And I did talk to a lot of people in the community, and I find that the noise aspect of it is really an issue. And I don't know if it's too loud. If it's not too loud, then I feel that they've got to adjust because it's, you know.
Alfred has machine
industry,
tests.
but,
Is it coming down into the village, like down into the valley?
yes, because they keep saying, well, you must hear it where you are, and I don't. And I said, I'm probably up higher than the vineyard, so I don't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I've talked to a lot of people that aren't really complaining. They're just saying it's not very pleasant to be out on their deck and stuff when it's going on. So if it's too loud, then it would be good to have that addressed, especially where it's new owners and everything.
Where's the noise coming from, Andrew?
The vineyard?
Oh, from,
Is there a machine?
It's a cannon to scare off the.
to scare off the birds.
Yes.
I saw that on
So that was
show,
probably.
and they were showing how it will scatter animals, and it will not just be crows, but it scatters animals from out of where they are.
Yeah.
And in the documentary I saw, they thought it was a very good tool for your birds, but it wasn't a very good tool for animals, especially if they had still young, because they can get separated from the noise. But I don't know enough about it.
Are farms subject to our noise bylaw law? Because there is a certain amount.
And Alfred's aware of this.
Okay, yeah.
He's looking into it.
And has been every fall since this.
Oh, never mind. So
this is
So
not
there is new ownership, there will be a visit, but this has come up every fall since this vineyard has been
So
in
it's not
operation.
like year long, it's just during when the grapes are ripe.
It's a condensed period in the fall prior to harvest when the crop is at its peak and birds are starting to do their winter foraging.
Winter harvest.
So it is a consistent issue. There are regulations from the provincial side, and then there is our noise bylaw. So Alfred is looking into it.
And I also spoke to another vineyard owner, and it's not uncommon. I mean, they all have something. Like I know Acadian Sea Plants and this other vineyard, they have squawking birds. So, and I know some of the complaints were saying, well, why don't they net them? So I asked someone at the Department of Agriculture, and they said that's not practical because they can't be netted until very late in the season, and it's not economically feasible to net them.
Net the birds?
Net the food. All the grapes.
Oh, I was going to say you can kill them. That's not good. Sorry, Angela. I apologize for being dumb.
Oh, but that's it. Oh, and let me see. That's that issue. And I did have another complaint, but I haven't really about. I think it's again a provincial issue, but I haven't really had time to talk to them a lot, and that's in Smith's Cove. And I've been involved with the Engage Nova Scotia, and I'm finding it very interesting. I went to the first one because the warden couldn't attend, and it was looking at Digby County, or the western region, southwest region, all the data that they got from the survey. And I attended a meeting today, and they're setting up like a local leadership team. And then on the 8th of November, they're actually having one that's going to break it down by postal code. So we'll be able to look at the data by postal code. So I think that would be interesting too. Like when we're making decisions, it's good information to have. Like, it's recreation, housing, health, education. So, and that's it.
It's a lot. Matthew.
September 29th, I attended the Barton School last public hearing And I'm anxiously waiting for Compass Nova Scotia to put shovel to the ground. Met with transportation at the beginning of October. I was pleased to hear that the gravel project is receiving double funding, which will help go towards finishing gravel road projects. I've been working with the Digby East Fish and Game, painting and cleaning the upstairs apartment to make it ready to rent for anybody who needs housing. So, attended a lunch meeting with newly elected MLA Jill Balzer. We spent time discussing initiatives both sides would like to see happen in our communities in the next few years. And I've also responded to emails and calls over garbage issues and road maintenance. That's been my month.
Thank you. George?
During the last month, my regular committee meetings, also attended Barton School hearing over at the rink, which thank you to our personnel for organizing, but we didn't have a big turnout. At least we got it done. It was a Festival of Trees meeting in Weymouth, and they decided again this year not to have the Festival of Trees because of the COVID concerns and having to check passports at the door and, setting citizens against one another maybe, and all the things that involves. So they just decided to maybe put it off for another year and hopefully have it next year. So, and then very few phone calls this month about roads and stuff. That's about it.
Good, thank you. David?
I got an animal welfare call. I dealt with got a bunch of complaints about drinking and driving that seems to have gone well. It's really slacked off. Housing issues. People are desperate, it seems. I had the 3 harbor authorities meet officially. And last night I was at another couple of meetings. And then they had another meeting last night in Westport. And they've all agreed to work together. So we'll see how that goes. I suggested two of our more easygoing harbor users to be coming from each village, but of course I had 5 from Westport, and a few of them were a little too much like myself, I think. So I'm going to try to rebalance that out. Still getting calls trickling in from the Department of Transportation in regards to some of the flooding, like spots they missed, but they're working and they're catching it. I'm getting calls at the school all the time. There's a worker shortage there too. Because everywhere there's a worker shortage. I've been talking a little bit with a doctor who's interested in coming to the area. The food bank, I'm getting help with the Lions Club, and I'd say food bank demand went up 20% last month. So that's not very good. I'm kind of worried about that. It turns out I'm the official vaccine checker at the Island Social Events. Yay. I've done a couple already, including fishermen. So it actually went fine. You just let them know ahead of time, and everybody's cool so far. I have 3 separate well issues, which was kind of an odd one. Doing what I can to get some insurance from DOT for 2 of them. I got a $500 donation from the food bank. Since that, I've helped a couple kids get into sports. We got lots of new people moving to the island, and lots of them are really vulnerable in really bad situations. So that's kind of keeping everybody alarmed and on the ball. I've been trying to establish a relationship with the new MLA to, impress the idea that we, the council and the MLA, we can help each other, we can be useful. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to start off with, I don't know if everyone knew this, but Erica Ralston, who is the board liaison and the executive support for the Western Regional Enterprise Network, has resigned, and she is going to become the project lead for Turning the Tide in Digby. And it's a project of inspiring communities, which begins on November the 15th. So I wanted to let you know that. I didn't know where else to put it. Now, for me, it's been a busy month. First of all, I attended a virtual conference for the Canadian Police Association, and that was very interesting. Then I attended the Event of Landy Conference for Recreation, and Actually, that was the best conference I've been to in a heck of a long time, and I gave, a 30-minute presentation at dark the other night. From there, I went to a meeting about a tall ship to look at what would happen if a tall ship came and we use it for tourism and that type of thing. It was just a meeting to see if there'd be interest there. We also then received Karen Enright, who was there on behalf of tourism, had gone to ACOA to see about getting money for bringing, it's called the Empire Sandy to Digby. There was no funding available. They're going to look at other ways. It's a large investment to come in for a pilot project, just so you know. And that's all it was. It was sort of a discussion. It wasn't, no decisions or anything were made at that meeting. I also attended the DARK, we had a DARK policy meeting, and then I attended the Mayor's Atlantic Congress in Charlottetown, and it was a busy time, and it was the drive back was in places at one point in just outside of Halifax in Sackville area, we had to pull off. We couldn't see to drive. It was raining so hard. And and then you'd run into places that it rained, and then you'd go somewhere. And from probably, it was really bad in Kentville. When we got below Berwick, it just changed. So it was not the best of driving. I also attended, of course, our meeting for the public about Compass, and again, there was no concerns there. I have been having a lot of concerns from residents for various items, and I'm going to say I've had to pass on quite a few things for the staff to look into, and thank goodness for John passing it on, because it was questions I really couldn't answer. Saying that, I would say that was what I have done this last month. And I just, for COVID in place, it's a very busy time. The only other thing I did want to mention, that it was announced today that our new Minister of Fisheries of Ocean and the Canadian Coast Guard is the Honourable Joyce Murray. She was first elected as a Member of Parliament for Vancouver Quadra in 2008. She has previously served as Minister of Digital Government and as President of the Treasury Board. So she is our new...
Treasury Board's a big one.
She is our new Fisheries Minister for Canada. Now,
too bad we didn't have an East Coaster.
We did last time.
Yeah.
So at this point, I would like us to go into camera, and our three items that we're going into camera on is contractual, personnel, and contractual. So can I have someone so moved that we go in camera? Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?